Welcome back to Book with Joys, the podcast where we explore how to build relationships that feel safe, secure, and deeply fulfilling. Today's episode dives into something I know so many of us have felt: the emotional roller coaster of anxious attachment. If you've ever been in a relationship where a single text could make your entire day, and silence could ruin it, you know what I'm talking about. That up and down cycle can be thrilling, heartbreaking, and utterly exhausting. So today, we're going to unpack why anxious attachment feels so intense, the science behind those emotional highs and lows, and, most importantly, how to step off that ride and find a love that feels steady, safe, and sustainable. What anxious attachment feels like. Let's start with what it actually feels like to live with anxious attachment. You crave closeness, almost like oxygen. When your partner is present, attentive, and affectionate, you feel alive. Your chest relaxes, you can breathe, and all feels right in the world. But the moment there's distance, a slow reply to your message, a change in tone, a weekend apart, it can feel like you're free-falling. You start overthinking. You replay conversations. You wonder if you said something wrong, or if they're losing interest. It's this constant back and forth between euphoria and panic. And the swings can happen within minutes. The brain chemistry behind the ride. Here's the thing, this isn't being dramatic or too sensitive. There's a biological explanation. Anxious attachment sets off a powerful reward stress loop in your brain. When you finally get the closeness and affection you've been longing for, your brain releases a surge of dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter that's linked to pleasure, reward, and emotional bonding. This rush can feel intoxicating, almost like an emotional high. You feel safe, valued, and deeply connected in those moments. But when that closeness is suddenly interrupted, maybe your partner gets busy, needs space, or simply doesn't respond the way you expect, your body flips into alarm mode. Cortisol, your primary stress hormone, spikes sharply. This triggers the same fight-or-flight reaction you'd have in the face of physical danger. Your heart might race, your thoughts spiral, and you may feel compelled to fix the connection immediately. This is why relationships can feel like a roller coaster. Your nervous system is swinging between emotional highs and survival mode lows. And just like that, you're hooked on the high of reassurance and the low of uncertainty. This push-pull cycle can feel eerily similar to an addiction. You're constantly seeking that hit of relief when the anxiety finally fades. The cost of staying on the ride. At first, the highs might even feel romantic. That drama, that intensity can be mistaken for passion. But over time, living like this has a cost. It can lead to emotional burnout. Living in a constant state of emotional highs and lows can be exhausting. The mental energy it takes to monitor your partner's moods, interpret every interaction, and soothe your own fears leaves you drained. Over time, you may feel like you're running on empty, with little left to give to yourself or others. Trouble focusing on work or personal life. When your mind is consumed by worries about your relationship, it's hard to fully show up in other areas of life. You might catch yourself rereading messages, replaying conversations, or imagining worst-case scenarios during meetings, family time, or even when you're trying to rest. This constant preoccupation makes it difficult to feel present and productive. Patterns of choosing partners who keep the cycle going. Often without realizing it, you may gravitate toward people who are inconsistent with their affection or communication. This isn't because you want pain, but because your nervous system has learned to associate unpredictability with passion. Unfortunately, this keeps the anxious attachment roller coaster in motion, making it harder to experience the steady, secure love you deserve. And here's the truth. Healthy love isn't supposed to feel like a survival game. How to step off the roller coaster. So how do you get off the ride? Here are some practical steps. And remember, this is a journey, not an overnight switch. 1. Notice the patterns. The first step to breaking free from anxious attachment is awareness. Pay close attention to the exact situations that trigger your anxiety. Does it spike when your partner doesn't text you back within an hour? When you see them online but not messaging you. Or when they choose to spend time with friends or family without you. These moments are often tied to deeper fears of abandonment or rejection. By identifying your personal triggers, you create a powerful pause between stimulus and response. Instead of spiraling into overthinking or jumping to conclusions, you can say to yourself, "Oh, this is one of those moments my anxiety tends to flare up." Awareness doesn't instantly remove the discomfort, but it gives you the space to choose a different reaction. One rooted in clarity rather than panic. 2. Learn to self-soothe. When you're anxiously attached, your nervous system often operates in fight or flight mode at the slightest hint of disconnection. While you can't control every aspect of your partner's behavior, you can learn to calm your body's stress response. This is where self-soothing becomes your lifeline. Practical ways to self-soothe include deep breathing. Inhale for 4 counts. Hold for 4, exhale for 6 to 8 counts. This signals to your body that you're safe. Grounding exercises. Notice 5 things you can see, 4 things you can touch, 3 you can hear, 2 you can smell, and 1 you can taste. Journaling. Write out your fears and challenge them with facts. Gentle movement. Take a short walk or stretch to release physical tension. When you can calm your nervous system on your own, you rely less on your partner to regulate your emotions, which actually creates more space for a healthy connection. 3. Pause before reacting. That rush of panic that tells you to send the "Are you mad at me?" text, check their social media, or call multiple times. That's your attachment system sounding the alarm. But reacting impulsively often fuels the cycle. Your partner may feel pressured, pull away, and confirm your worst fears. The antidote. Pause. Give yourself at least 10 to 20 minutes before responding to the trigger. Use that time to breathe, ground yourself, or distract with a healthy activity. This short break interrupts the feedback loop of anxiety, reassurance seeking, temporary relief, more anxiety. Over time, these small pauses help you build emotional resilience. 4. Communicate needs directly. When anxiety is running high, it's tempting to drop hints, test your partner's commitment, or hope they'll just read your mind. But indirect communication often leads to misunderstandings and resentment. Instead, get comfortable stating your needs clearly and respectfully. For example, instead of posting something sad on social media to get their attention, try saying, "I feel more connected when we check in at least once during the day." Instead of giving them the silent treatment when you're hurt, try, "When you don't respond for hours, I start to feel anxious. Can we talk about a communication rhythm that works for both of us?" Healthy partners won't be offended by your honesty, they'll appreciate it, because clarity makes relationships easier. 5. Choose consistency over chemistry. This is one of the hardest lessons for anxiously attached people. That the dizzying highs and crushing lows aren't signs of great passion, they're symptoms of nervous system dysregulation. When your body is in a constant state of craving and fear, it feels intense, but it's not sustainable love. Healthy relationships often feel, well, calm. There's still attraction, but it's mixed with reliability, safety, and trust. That steadiness might feel unfamiliar at first, even boring compared to the emotional roller coaster, but it's the foundation of a secure, lasting bond. When choosing a partner, notice how they make you feel most of the time. The right person will offer emotional consistency, not constant uncertainty. Butterflies fade. Safety and trust deepen. Final takeaway. Anxious attachment can make relationships feel like a wild, heart-stopping ride. But that's not the only way to experience love. When you step off the roller coaster, you're not losing excitement. You're gaining something far better. Peace, security, and space for real intimacy to grow. Love shouldn't be about constant highs and lows. It should be about knowing you're safe, even in the quiet moments. If this episode resonated with you, I encourage you to explore more about attachment styles and how they shape the way we love. And remember, Your capacity for secure love is not fixed. You can heal, you can grow, and you can find relationships that don't feel like survival mode. Thanks for listening to Book with Joys. If you found value here, please subscribe, share this with a friend, and leave a review. It really helps others find the show. Until next time, take care of your heart.